Like and follow if you love horror. After a few hours of searching, Joe Jack came across something a few yards from the shore. It was a simple makeshift fire pit, the usual ring of stones campers would gather around to tell ghost stories. It had been used relatively recently as well, perhaps within the last couple of days. Maybe around the time of the murders. He scanned about with Inquisitor and, for the most part, came up with nothing. Then after a few moments, a pale, glowing fleck showed up on the screen of his smartphone. He followed it to a bright green speck on the side of a beer can that was smashed impossibly flat. Looking around, he found a few more in the bush. "Hey, looks like there might have been partying down here before they went to the cabin," Joe Jack shouted. The other three agents gathered by closely. "I found a couple of cans of Paps," he chuckled, holding up one of the one that was smashed flat. "Looks like he pancaked this one. Sure no one else could flatten one like it was placed on a railroad track. Maybe he likes the same kind of beer they was drinking? I know it's a favorite of mine." "For the love of God, Joe Jack," Ronnie grunted. "No, wait," Diana thought about it. "That might be it." "Are you serious?" Ronnie wasn't sure if Diana just snapped after everything she'd been through. "Ronnie, shut it." Miranda glared at him, then turned her attention back to Diana. "Agent Saperstein, what's on your mind?" "He's acting out of disgust because of his longing for his own life. We assume he's jealous of the lives of his Vics, but what if he thinks they're wasting the life he wishes he had? He doesn't eat, doesn't breathe. You all saw him, no genitals. I'm assuming he can't fornicate." "One commonality in every victim we've received from an autopsy report on," Miranda said. "Each had some kind of narcotics in their system. And according to Inquisitor analysis, so did the recent victim. Simply from that, I would venture a guess that this is how he's choosing his victims. Looks like he has a taste for drug users in particular." "He hates to party?" Joe Jack was honestly incensed by the idea of a man who couldn't live his life and refused to allow anyone else to live theirs. "He doesn't just hate it, it disgusts him," Diana explained. "He's punishing them for wasting what he can't have. Drugs, booze, sex, a life." "Huh." Joe Jack leaned forward and stroked his chin. "We can get this sucker with an old-fashioned sting." "You want to sting a Frankenstein's monster?" Ronnie was skeptical of Joe Jack's suggestion, but moreover, he wasn't sure of Diana's logic behind it. "Hear him out." Miranda was becoming impatient. "Okay, we know what he's after, we know who he's looking for, we know where he's going to come from, and now with Inquisitor, we have a way to track him." Joe Jack gestured with his hands to paint a picture in front of everyone. "If we can guarantee where he's going to strike, we can have agents there to grab him when he shows up." "So you want to throw a party to attract a murderer who hates parties?" Miranda thought it over. "If you want to attract a buck, you cover yourself with lady deer urine," he explained. "You know, that sounds like it might work," Ronnie said, impressed in spite of himself. "We can obtain some party favors from Mr. Ondasti." Ronnie pulled up his smartphone and dialed Jiro. "I don't think we need to engage in any illegal activities to fool," Miranda began before Ronnie interrupted. "Would you be fooled into attacking a party without authenticity?" He shot back just as quickly. Miranda's lips curled into a snarl, and Diana had a fleeting realization that Miranda seemed to have very big, very sharp teeth. But then it was gone, and she was just a normal, very mean old woman once again. "No, but I'm not a..." Miranda started, but Joe Jack interrupted her. "No, but we don't know what this thing is capable of, do we? For all we know, it can smell the difference. Maybe he'll only want the good stuff. It's settled. We get some of the good old-fashioned nose candy from the Cajun Shark. Then me and Diana can crash a party in the area with the cavalry in the wing." Joe Jack grinned. He knew how to hunt varmints, even if it was an 800-pound flesh golem varmint fueled by malice. Ronnie held up his hands. Jira, listen. We're going to need you to pull a favor with a Cajun shark. Can you get us an audience? Diana, Jira, and Joe Jack drove east towards Galveston. Joe Jack had changed out of his federal jacket and into stained overalls and a trucker cap emblazoned with the logo of a barbecue joint. Jira was wearing the superhero disguise pack, gray hoodie, glasses, and a fitted Dallas Stars logo across the front. The bulkiness of the hoodie hid his strange mechanical wings reasonably well, but Diana had to wonder what he did during the summer, or how he bathed, or how he functioned at all. Was he mechanical inside too? And Joe Jack, he was uneducated. He seemed to bounce between insightful and oblivious with ease. How did someone like him get called into the FBI? Diana was furiously hungry for information, and an entire world had opened up to her in the last 24 hours. This would be the perfect time to dig in, but finding herself on a new team heightened her awareness of how awkward she could make the situation. What could she say? Hey, you seem like an idiot. How are you an agent? So, you're not human. How do you live? Instead, she focused on the case. So, who is this Mr. Andasti? You called him the Cajun Shark? Jera rolled his eyes in response to her question, apparently disliking the nickname. Oh boy, Joe Jack answered. Mr. Andasti is the real big-time gangster over in Louisiana, and he's the real deal. Slick suit, guards, the whole 9 yards, he said happily. It was obvious he had a little boy's adoration for that sort of life. You need something? You can get it. If he's an actual gangster, we should be putting him behind bars, not giving him business. Why are we dealing with him? Can't we pull from evidence? Jira hefted a sigh at Diana's second question. Mr. Andasti isn't Cajun, first of all. He's Haitian. Joe Jack here thinks anyone that or anything that can speak French or Creole is Cajun. Secondly, he's not a gangster, he's a smuggler. So yes, he's involved in illegal activities, but the problem is murkier than that. Not only does he work in circles that are more in line with our sort of case, but he also acts as a sort of coyote for my kind. Your kind? Diana pressed, distracted from the pertinent details of by the chance to learn more. Jira's face gave away nothing. His voice was flat. Fairy, not every group of hunters is working for the law. Not every hunter cares how innocent a non-human is. Anyways, he does a lot more good for us than he does harm to your kind. Combine that with information, and he has something of an immunity. Diana never approved of the use of confidential informants. It seemed like giving criminals a free pass to exchange for not doing your job. She realized she wasn't equipped to ask any more questions about fairies without being offensive, a rare insight for her. The van fell into silence, other than the sound of Steve Early singing softly on the radio. Diana expected the usual show with CIs, pull him in for questioning, or meet up in a shadowy alleyway where no one would know. She was put off when Joe Jack pulled up to a small po' boy food truck next to the harbor. Mr. Andasti, and there was no question about which person was the so-called Cajun Shark, sat on a bench, a sandwich next to him. His skin was so dark as to be black. His teeth that seemed to glow in their whiteness when he smiled at them. Diana judged him to be over 6 feet tall with an athletic build. He wore buttons and red silk shirt. Despite the humidity and warmth, he seemed to show no signs of discomfort. He spoke with a thick Haitian accent and the lazy ease of a man who never had to bow to anyone's will. Jira, always nice to hear from you. Are you going to pay your debt on this trip, or is it simply business for your masters? Diana had the impression of an alligator drifting closer to for the kill. Jera, for his part, avoided looking directly at the smuggler.